Hey everybody, I have a wonderful and special guest. Josh Sundquist is here to talk to us a little bit about mental health and how he best cares for his.
What's up, Kati's channel?
Just to give you an idea, Josh does a lot of motivational speaking, and that's a lot of what you do in general?
Yeah, in real life, I'm a motivational speaker in the same way that you in real life are a therapist. So a lot of my videos are vlogs that are about things going on in my life, but then like kind of what I've learned from them and perhaps like what lesson there might be for viewers in like those experiences. And also, you can't quite tell from this angle, but I don't have a leg, my left leg specifically. So a lot of my stories then are things that I think are funny that happen as a result of having one leg. So it's a lot of also like amputee jokes.
Gotcha. So the way to kind of, like, because humor can be a coping mechanism too, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's an essential one for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, I mean, because sometimes people will be like, well, like, how are you able to find humor in your situation? But to me, it's more like, I don't like, how would I be able to be in this situation if I couldn't find humor in it?
Yeah, and that's the great thing about his channel. So we did a video over on his channel, and you have to click over here to check it out, and I'll also push to it at the end so you can find it then. But as always, when anybody comes on my couch, we start off by asking, what does mental health mean to you?
I love this, like, your
I know,
couch.
I know.
Do you mean that in like a therapist way?
Yeah, Katie's couch.
Katie's couch.
Although we're not in my office, just FYI.
So what does mental health mean to me? To me, it's like something that is like so essential, but that there's like a lot of stigma attached to it, and sort of an underappreciation for how significant it is. Right, that it's, I don't know, for whatever reason in our, at least like this current time in this current place, it's like we generally, if a person has an illness or injury, or generally like, yeah, like that's something that you should probably like get fixed. That's like pretty essential to your well-being, that you like get that sewn up if you're bleeding. But yeah, depending on who you talk to, something that's going on in your mind may or may not be something that you need to address, or may or may not be something that it is appropriate to get help with. You know, for me, like I started getting interested in being a motivational speaker when I was really young, like when I was like 15. And so at that time in my life, I watched a lot of motivational speakers, read a lot of like really motivational self-help, and some of it is not, it's not particularly like enlightened when it comes to mental health. So a lot of it would be like, oh, like, here's my chapter on how to deal with depression. You're depressed? That's because, like...
Yeah, get out of bed.
Because you haven't set high enough goals. Like, you're aiming too low. And so like, I naively was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm glad I understand what depression is now. It's like having low goals in life and not being motivated enough. It took me a long time and a lot of conversations with, fortunately, people who were... like had better ideas, I think, about mental health than I did, to get to a point where I was like ready to see a therapist, ready to talk to my doctor about an antidepressant. Like that was like a pretty like long process for me to be like, okay, this is not, it's not like it doesn't mean I'm doing something wrong. It means like I need to get help.
Yeah. Which is, I know it takes us all a long time to get there. And you actually, because we met up ahead of time and talked about this so that we were prepared. And Josh has a whole tool set and like an acronym to go along with it on how he best manages mental health and kind of, I guess, keeps everything in check. Is that the right way of introducing it?
Yeah, sort of trying to maintain a baseline of mental health on a daily basis. Yeah, so this is a thing that I do. It's sort of my daily mental health routine. And the acronym, like you said, is JERM, so JERM, but with like the wrong pronunciation for the J.
That's fine.
So JERM. So it's 4 things, and I will explain them to you guys.
The first is my favorite.
Yeah.
I bet you guys can imagine what it is.
Yeah, if you watch Kati's channel, you already know what a J is going to stand for. So yeah, the first thing is journaling. Surprise!
Yay!
So specifically for me, I try to just do like stream of consciousness. I personally like to type. I mean, Kati talks about this. There's lots of different types of journaling.
Yeah.
Just me, I like to type because I can type a lot faster than I can write by hand. And yeah, it's just generally just like, literally just like whatever's on my mind. Although sometimes I find that it will become this sort of like downward spiral of like, oh, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of this.
Oh, like it builds on itself and kind of like
do you ever
swirls.
find that?
Yeah.
If it's literally just stream of consciousness, that it's just like, whoa, this is
taking a dark
very
turn.
downhill stream, like kind of going over a waterfall sort of stream.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, something my wife Ashley suggested to me once that I'll do is I'll make like a gratitude list of like 25 things minimum that I'm grateful for. And it could be like really simple things like, oh, it is sunshine today, or like
I breathe in and out.
Yeah, like,
amazing.
I'm alive. Like the downward spiral is when I'm asking myself the question like, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? Like, what am I anxious about? What's going wrong?
Versus
but by
like,
asking yourself, what am I grateful for? You're automatically changing what your brain is searching for. It's like, what am I grateful for? And then it's like, oh wow, like there's actually all these great things, and then you keep seeing more and more great things, and then it's like an
which is a great tool
spiral.
Like to help if you're in a dark place, like making gratitude lists, or like just thinking of like 5 things before you go to bed that you are happy about, can really just help. It can brighten your mood so significantly.
Like way more than you'd think.
Okay, so J is journaling.
Journaling, and then E is exercise. So, I mean, Katie can speak to like the amazing effects of exercise on your brain, but they are like innumerable and very well documented. And I think experientially, we all find that if you go exercise, whatever form you like to do,
even just walking around the block can help.
So like walking is my main form of exercise. Like I walk pretty far. Most days I walk for about like 2 hours, about 5 miles.
We don't have cars. We both walk a lot.
That's actually something
we share them with our spouses.
Pretty unique in Los Angeles is not having a car, but it's awesome here because the weather's great.
Exercise can be good, and some of my viewers and my clients struggle with over-exercise, so just making sure it's in line with what your doctor says and what's okay for you, and knowing that it doesn't have to be a ton. It could just be walking for like 10-15 minutes. Even just getting outside sometimes is a big struggle for a lot of us, and so that's why exercise is so great.
And then R stands for read. So there's journal, exercise, and read. And this is probably the one that is maybe the least intuitive from the word. It's still like the one where, like in every acronym, there's one letter where you're like, yeah, that's kind of a stretch. Like, I feel like you were really trying to make an acronym there. So that's this one.
That's the one stretch.
Where I was really trying to make it pronounceable, and so I made it R. So it's read, but it doesn't just mean reading text on a page. Specifically, what I'm looking to do is read something that is positive for my mental health. And so for me, I really like books about like mindfulness and about meditation. Sometimes it's even actually like watching videos where someone is talking about these subjects. So it doesn't even have to be reading. It's just some form of deliberately seeking sort of positive things that I know, that like the things that I know I need at that time to sort of balance out whatever negative beliefs are swelling up in my brain.
And I know that some of these tools, people will be like, oh, I don't have time, or that's really hard, or what if I don't really like to read? You don't have to do it forever. It's not like you're reading for hours and hours, maybe 20 minutes.
When I look at it as like, and I don't really do this every single day, but my goal is to do it every day. My goal is to do about like 15 minutes. Yeah.
So, so we have journaling, we have exercise, we have reading.
And M is meditation. And I just think meditation for me is so essential and important. And I wouldn't have said that at other times. Like I started meditating probably like 6 years ago, and I would say for like the first like year or two I did it, I was more like I don't really know that this is doing anything. Is this really helping? It's like there seems to be some good research on it, so I'm gonna keep trying just because.
That's awesome. You stuck with it.
Just because I'm really desperate to be in like a better mental place.
Yeah.
Generally, meditation involves like concentration, and it takes a really long time, I think, to just build up the ability. It's almost like a muscle, like the ability to concentrate on. In meditation, generally, you're concentrating on like your breath or a mantra or counting. So it's these inherently really boring things, which is kind of the point, is to like stop concentrating on like all your like thoughts that are going sort of wild. So I would say it was like quite a while before I felt like meditation was something that I derived benefit from, and that like now I look forward to, and it's like a really important part of my day.
I think that everybody's a little different on how they go about it. Like I personally really struggle to do it on my own. I've used the Headspace app a little bit. We're not sponsored by them or anything, but I've used it, and I'm not very good to use it.
Yeah.
I do better with just like putting in some light music, and I focus on my nose, feeling the air come in and out. That's my thing. But it is really hard, and I can only do 10 minutes at a time. So I always like to end Katie's Couch with a question about what advice you would give to your younger self. I know that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, no, this is something I think about a lot, actually. Because I think it's a really, really fascinating question. And also I think, like, when I think about like different times in my life, the advice I would give, and then I think about now, I'm like, oh, it's pretty much the same advice I would still give to myself.
Totally.
Which is maybe good, or maybe means I'm not growing at all as a person. I'm not sure.
I would think you're growing as a person.
But yeah, I guess maybe the positive way would just be like, oh, I'm seeing patterns or something.
Yeah, totally.
I think I just always like try too hard. And I would say like, the most emblematic example I could give would be like, you don't have to get hundreds. So at your high school, 93 to 100 at the end of the term is an A. So there is, like, you're trying to get into a good college, that's great, I get it. You know, that'll be useful to you. But colleges functionally do not know whether you got 100 or whether you got 93. So, like, when your average is 100 already in the class, don't do the extra credit. That is a total waste of time. Like, there's no reason to have over 100 average at the end of a semester. So, yeah, I mean, so that's like a specific example, but I would say then take that and apply it generally. Like, you don't have to get hundreds not only on tests, but on everything in life. You don't have to hit hundreds in like socially and your fitness and like your achievements as an athlete. Like, like do your best, but it's fine if you don't hit 100, whatever you imagine that to be, which is probably an imaginary construct anyway.
Totally. And I think that's great advice, and I would tell myself that too. That's something I struggled with too, is like the need for perfection. Yeah. Which is like so exhausting.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing all of your wonderful tips and tricks. And like I said, we did a video over on Josh's channel, so you can click over here to check that out. And he has a bunch of wonderful videos where he shares all of his amazing insights. So thank you for taking time.
Oh, no, thanks for having me.
And I will see you all next time. Bye.